please rise for the President of Pakistan, Dr. Arif Alvi? Thank you. And can we please now remain standing for the national anthem of Pakistan? Honorable Chief Guest, the President of Pakistan, Dr. Arif Alvi, Your Excellency, honored guests, yet again, a very warm welcome to Tabadlab's launch ceremony of our working paper, Energizing the Tech Investment Ecosystem in Pakistan by our Center for Digital Transformation. We will now begin the ceremony with a recitation of the Holy Quran by Dr. Ikramul Haq.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم هو الذي جعل الشمس ضياءً والقمر نورا وقدره منازل لتعلموا عدد السنين والحساب ما خلق الله ذلك إلا بالحق نفصل الآيات لقوم يعلمون صدق الله العظيم.
Shukriya, Dr. Saab. Honored Chief Guest, Your Excellency, the Ambassador of the European Union, ladies and gentlemen, in the last few years, there has been a remarkable rise in investment in Pakistani tech startups across a variety of sectors, whether it's edtech in the health sector, agriculture, the supply chain, fintech, travel, and leisure. At this rate, it does not seem too far-fetched to imagine Pakistan as the next big hub of investment. But there's still a few miles to go before that dream or that vision can be finalized. I would now like to invite the CEO of Tabadlab, Mr. Musharraf Zaidi, onto the stage to set the context of today's event, the paper, as well as the Center for Digital Transformation.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. First of all, let me thank the President himself. So I want to start with a personal reflection, jo thoda بےتکلفی اور شائستگی کے دائرے میں رہتے ہوئے بےتکلفی کا میں اظہار کروں گا. I have been a vocal and visible critic of the ruling party for many years. And around the same time, I believe the first call I made would have been in 2013. I reached out to all the key political leaders and all the key political parties to secure and seek their support for an issue that I was working on back then, which was education. And I wanted to share this anecdote because I think it's important and it speaks to why we sought the President's presence and requested him to grace the occasion by allowing us to be here at the Aiwan-e-Sadr for this event. Consistently and without fail, we found at that time Dr. Arif Alvi to be a tireless champion for education. There was never a moment when the Alif Elan team back then would reach out to a politician that we would ever find anyone more energized and more at the front of the line than Dr. Alvi. So, Mr. President, you have continued to do this despite all the reasons in the world to not pick up when we called. And I think it speaks to your personal commitment to this country and to the issues that matter. So I warmly express my gratitude to you and my admiration for you for being driven by the issues. The issues in this country are not, I don't think they're a big secret. And I think one of the key drivers of change in this country is going to be the lower middle class and middle class children that grow up to become entrepreneurs that use technology. They don't use capital, they use technology to create capital. So we think that this is the absolutely single best opportunity for transformation in this country. And we think that there's a great reckoning that's happening right now as we see this piling up of startup investment and venture capital interest in this country, that this is exactly the right moment to leverage the interest of everybody that's here. It's a very small crowd, but that's not a mistake or that's not an error or that's not happenstance. It's a small crowd because champions for change are never, they're never a mob. It's a very select few that understand an opportunity that faces a country of 220 million people. I've been known to go on for a long time, so I'm going to try and keep my remarks limited. And I just want to share, kind of what is the potential. And again, we've heard all of these things before, but it's important to repeat them and repeat them over and over and over again. The beginnings of this investment that we see, the energy that we see in the tech sector is on the basis purely of the population and demographic potential of this country. So we've barely gotten on the plane, what to say of getting on the runway and taking off. And even then, we see hundreds of millions of dollars pouring into Pakistan. At the same time as a massive security challenge to the north of us in this neighborhood, at the same time as a global imports and commodities price hike, at the same time as an oil price hike and LNG price hike, we are still every day, every other day, every week, we see news of a new startup getting this money. What is that telling us? It's telling us that the potential of Pakistan is so high that all of the problems of Pakistan don't matter, and that potential is worth the interest of investors. What do we need to do? We need to make sure that the direction of these investments and the hope and promise of the people of Pakistan is met with a policy architecture that leans into it. And I'm really, really delighted to see Ahmed Hashmi here, the chairperson of the STZA. I think the existence of the Special Technology Zones Authority is one great sign of this country's recognition of this opportunity. But a lot more needs to happen. I'm not going to go into what needs to happen because thankfully we had real experts. Ali Khizr, Hamad Haider, Umar Nadeem and Aliza Amin work on this document and prepare a long list of things that need to happen, both in the short term and in the long term. So inshallah, I hope that all of you will have a chance to read the document. This is the second major document that we've published under the banner of the Center for Digital Transformation. Inshallah, we will continue to push hard on serious policy inputs into the system, and we'll keep expecting all of you that are here, and to whom I'm immensely grateful for your interest, your support, your endorsement, and your participation in conversations like this. I also just do want to make note of the presence of my parents here. It's always a great moment for a son to have his parents be in this kind of a setting. So thanks, Mom and Dad, for everything. Thank you again to His Excellency, the President of Pakistan, who has once again endorsed through his actions and words his own personal commitment to the things that really matter. And to everyone else, I'm grateful. I'm sure all of you will read the report in great detail. Even if you think it's boring, I would beg that you do, because I think the more people that read this and get interested in this, the more the research of friends like Ali Khizr and Hamad and Aliza and Umar will matter. I'm sure I didn't want to end without thanking the Tabad Lab team, who worked tirelessly and who's a very, it's a very young group of people. So I don't want to name everyone, but in particular, Bisma, Zan, Sameh, the whole team that worked on this. Of course, Amber, thanks to those folks as well. That's it from me. Thank you.
Zaidi, always the optimist, and really today's event is about optimism and potential and cashing in on that potential. I would now like to invite onto the stage the co-authors of the report, Ali Khizr and Aliza Amin, and they will explain to us a little more on what this potential is and what more needs to be done. Could you please come onto the stage, Ali and Aliza? And just another periodic reminder to keep your masks on.
Am I audible? Okay, great. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us this afternoon. My name is Aliza Amin, and I'm a policy associate at the Tabad Lab Center for Digital Transformation and co-author of our latest working paper, Energizing the Tech Investment Ecosystem in Pakistan. I am lucky to be joined today by the principal author of our report and head of research at Business Recorder, Ali Khizr. As many have mentioned before me, it is evident that 2021 has been a record-breaking year for Pakistan in terms of tech investment and in particular, startup investment. As the Prime Minister Imran Khan has previously said, it is clear that Pakistan is open for business. As an emerging player, this country has an opportunity to sustain this momentum and succeed as a global tech destination. However, there are chronic issues that will require structural change in order to generate local and foreign investment. In our presentation, we explore how transformations to the policy and regulatory landscape can enable this structural change and help Pakistan become investor-friendly for tech entrepreneurs. There are currently 3 factors that characterize the digital opportunity that Pakistan currently faces. The first of these is a set of chronic economic challenges that impact our enabling environment. This includes high fiscal deficit and current account deficit that impedes the growth of our GDP. Furthermore, Pakistan suffers from a bloated public sector that breeds inefficiencies, reduces competition, and creates financial losses. In addition, continued depreciation of the Pakistani rupee reduces the returns of foreign investors and sponsors. The second characteristic of this opportunity is Pakistan's current demographic, which informs the strength of our workforce. At a median age of 23 years, Pakistan is currently seeing the youngest population ever in the country's history. This allows us a timed window until 2045 to realize demographic dividends. This will require a large and diverse enough economy that can productively engage and absorb this workforce. Finally, Pakistan's digital opportunity is defined by the accelerated trends of digital adoption during the COVID-19 pandemic. These promising digital trends indicate what the way forward may look like. For instance, between 2020 and 2021, mobile broadband subscription had increased by 19 million to reach almost 100 million. E-commerce and digital payments in the financial services sector have also seen a rapid increase during this crisis period, as mobile banking transactions have increased by over 100% over the past year. As stated previously, startups have also witnessed record-breaking funding rounds, whereas IT and ICT exports are also growing and crossed the $2 billion mark in the previous fiscal year. It is evident that investor interest is increasing in Pakistan's accelerating tech space, and this trend has only further speeded up during the pandemic. Over the past 4 years, significant attempts have been made to improve government efforts in facilitating the tech sector's growth through changes to the policy and regulatory regime. Pakistan's technology policy landscape is influenced by a range of instruments that broadly fall into two categories. This includes the investment regime, which defines and governs the overall climate for tech investors in Pakistan. This also includes the technology regime, which impacts sector-specific issues and affects how the technology space will evolve. From the introduction of the Digital Pakistan policy in 2018, to initiatives that intend to grow e-commerce and digital payments, such as the National Payment System Strategy, to policies and legislations that govern the creation of tech zones and the channeling of foreign funding for startups. These combined regimes determine how Pakistan's tech sector is understood from an opportunity point of view and impact the type of investments made. These policies, however, can have unintended but lasting consequences for the trajectory of Pakistan's growth, particularly in an ever-evolving and globalizing market and geographical context. What impact and relevance do these developments have to realize Pakistan's technology dream? In the second part of our presentation, our principal author, Ali Khizr, will be assessing the strengths of our policy landscape and will help us assess how Pakistan can move forward and emerge as a global tech destination. Thank you.
Thank you, Elise, and Mr. President, Ambassador, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for taking time out for us and give us the opportunity to present you the case which we have put Elise, Hamad, and Umar as a team. We worked really hard on that. So, So the thing which we need to see is that first we need to assess based on the context. Elise said that is to assess the policy landscape. And we need to see more in the long term how to have that coherent policy. So the thing is this, we have some immediate short-term issues, we have some long-term issues, and we need to address them both with the thinking of the long term. So the first thing what we need to see is the coherence in the policy architecture. So the problem in Pakistan, there's so many players, there's so many stakeholders working in their own silos and trying to do something which they want, but because they all are doing simultaneously things which are not really aligned with each other, so the suboptimal result is the case. So we need to have the alignment of priorities and incentives. We need to sit down, we need to have one platform from where to think and have those design policies and then define goals and objectives for all the stakeholders and to work on that and to enable the private sector to come in and invest there and then of course for us to reap fruit. So the participatory and agile policy design is important, or rather is imperative. So without doing so, we'll be moving one step forward and two steps backward, or we just keep on moving in the loop. And time is running short, as Elise mentioned that demographic dividend Pakistan would have till 2045 or something. And we started this having in 1990s. So more than the half of the time is lost. But the technology, and after the COVID, the emergence of the technology at a larger scale is giving us the opportunity to compensate on the time lost what we have in the past 3 decades or so, to work on the last 2 decades, so that the Pakistan can prosper as all what we want. And by the time Pakistan would have its 100 years of celebration and independence, we would see a new transformed digital Pakistan. So we need to think today to what we need to get into 2047 and beyond. So these are some important elements which we need to see that, and based on those, we have set up the context. Yeah. So the first thing, the most important thing is about how to have those policies. So how to look at the way forward. The first thing we need to see that the investment ecosystem in Pakistan. So the first thing is, we all know that the firefighting is the word for Pakistan when it comes to economic management. You got a high fiscal deficit. You've been running this for many years. You got an external account problem every now and then. The boom-bust cycle is frequenting. And that is not letting us to think on the long term. And the firefighting from the State Bank and the Ministry of Finance has really come on the way. And the long-term goals, especially for the technology, from the other stakeholders like Ministry of Information Technology, Science and Technology, the regulator PTA, and even the STZA and the other stakeholders, is not really working on. So those things we need to understand, that how to have those move away from that fiscal and monetary pressure and focus more on the technology, because if we invest rightly in technology, going forward, these fiscal and monetary problems would solve by themselves. So we need to think beyond those when it comes to technology. That's the most important thing, that we need to have that. The other problem is the government, administration, and accountability complexities. You know, government is a very complex animal. I mean, there are different layers of governments, and within each layer, there are different departments. They don't really harmonize with each other. They don't really talk to each other. They work in their silos, and then the processes are very complex. And the accountability fear, we all know that, is hindering people to taking from their risk. And so here, how to work on that and how to use digital tools to work on that, that's the one thing we need to do that. And of course, the most important thing, dividend, is that average age of this country is 23. Now, I don't think so anyone of 23 years of age is sitting in this room. So what we are doing, what we are talking about, is for the people who are to come on that. So one thing, we need to have more engagement with the people of that age, and we need to think more in coming in their shoes. We need to think how our kids are behaving, how the younger ones are behaving, and think for them. It's not based on the past. So that's a very important message for all of us. So here are this is, so they're the recommendation. Sorry for this technology. So we have some recommendation. Some recommendation are for immediate basis. That's there, yeah. So the first thing we need to fix the investment climate. I mean, first we need to protect the right of existing investor. We have one big investor sitting right in front of us, Telenor, and their other investor, they have invested in 2000, when we deregulated, privatized, and incentivized the telecom industry, and it reaped benefits. Many new players come into it. Islamabad has new corporate employee, and the country has changed the landscape. And the PTCL, think about the PTCL, think about what we have today. But these investors are not making returns. These investors are facing the problem of the taxation. These investors are facing problem of the regulation. So all these we need to do is to work on those. And one way to do is to work on the STZA model. So how to work on that? You have to form a silo, as in what you do in Dubai. You have a different DFIC kind of model. We need to build something on that. And then the most critical element is to invest in your human development. So the Pakistan, the IT graduates are less. So if we want to go to, increase our exports, increase our footprint, we need to have more graduates. And here, friends like Javed and all are sitting, they need to think about to create a boot camp or something where we can work and develop the half-cooked graduate from the other universities and how to, and then we need to think with the ambassador and all that, how can we bring those remote workers into the domain in Pakistan with remote working environment really working on that. The other factor which is the very key is the improving connectivity. Like in 1930s, Keynes said that build the roads and the investment follow, economy will grow. It came out of the recession. And going forward, the world followed that model. Now the roads are made even in Pakistan. But we need to build a different kind of a road network, that infrastructure network. And for that infrastructure, the first thing is to have the radio spectrum. And when we talk about the radio spectrum, the finance ministry always think about the revenue generation from that. So if the industry is paying base high fee on that, they won't invest. Why they don't invest? Because they have not returned what they've invested in the past 15 years. So it's a vicious cycle. So we need to work on that. We need to think on the future, and we need to work on a way that provide them at a low cost of fee the new allocation of the frequency and have them to invest, and eventually will generate revenues from that. And the other thing is that in Pakistan, their returns are very low, and there's this predatory pricing is this. And in dollar terms, returns are getting lower and lower. So they're not investing in the infrastructure because of that. The good and the bad customer are not being, they're not separated. So there is a quality decline in the quality of service, especially voice. So they need to invest. For that, they need to get the spectrum free and invest. And we have to work on the predatory prices. So they have incentive to invest. And when they invest, you have the better quality of services going on. And the next thing is about establishing technology as a value and a norm. So, think about making Pakistan as a tech destination, Pakistan. Think about something, we brand Pakistan as a tech destination. Like we invite people for tourism and everything. We invite people, we showcase Pakistan as a tech destination with young people, bright people, and invite the investor and invite the big groups here to come and participate in that. And for that, we need to fix on the investment promotion metric. We just look from the entrepreneurial point of view. We don't look from the technology worker point of view. So we need to look at the technology worker point of view as well. And of course, then we need to work on different other areas where you have. So those are some short-term investments, so recommendation and some decisions which are required to be taken immediately in the next, let's say, 1 month to 6 months or 1 year. Then there are long-term policies, which we need to do that. So first, we have to have vision. We need to look beyond 6 months. We need to look beyond 1 year. We need to look beyond electoral cycle. We need to look at 20 years from now. Our average age is 23. So those kids who are less than 23, when they'll be in their 40s, 50s, 60s, we need to look on for them. We need to provide them the platform to capture on this opportunity they have. So for that, we need to bring an umbrella framework for the technology investment policy. Someone has to take the onus. There are multiple bodies working in Pakistan, but there is no one as such taking the onus. So we have to think that if it is STZA, if it is Ministry of IT, if it is Ministry of Science and Technology, or whoever, I think one thing, but suggestion came from one of the participant here it should be coming from the PM house. If PM is taking that, then it's the right approach. And I think I request the president to take this issue to the PM and ask him to drive this technology, because that's for the future. That's for the youth we talk about. That's for the youth, the agenda you came in for. And then you have to have a shared priorities to align competing incentive across public sector agencies. Like you have State Bank, you have Ministry of Finance, you have those ministries involving in that. Those ministries like IT, STZA, and Science and Technology, they think in the long term. They say that provide this incentive to this. When it comes to Ministry of Finance, okay, we need tax, we need non-tax revenues. When we go to the State Bank, okay, we need to see the import of the mobile phones, we need to see the import of all those things. So we need to take technology out of them and look at the other factors. And all the people have to be there for this. The next thing is that market development. So again, Institute of Skill Emergency, that's the way key. You have huge population, but their skill set is low. And fortunately, in this sector, technology sector, the skill set can be achieved in a shorter time than you need someone to become a doctor or engineer or an accountant. So you have to have a skill emergency, you have to build that, and you have to produce the quality graduates, create boot camps with the industry, with the government, and work on that. Then you need to work on promoting the localization to boost capacity. The localization of technology, have SMEs coming into it. You know, budding entrepreneurs coming into it. Usually the policy is captured by the big boys in the textile, in the automobile and all that. Technology is a new area. The young boys, 30s, in their 30s, in their 20s, in their 40s, they're coming up. And they're a different breed. Bring them on. Change the rent-seeking culture to market-seeking culture to the efficiency-seeking culture. That's the key to it. Then you have to accelerate the pedal on the digitalization of the government. Again, government is a complex animal. There's so many processes. There's so many inefficiencies. You digitize them. When you digitize them, you create opportunities in the private sector. And the private sector comes and invests and work for the government. Based on that, the private players in the corporate sector come and get the demand from that. And then you have this to work for the export sector on that. And of course, you have to protect the intellectual property rights. And last but not the least is about the overall governance and capacity. So again, I've said that all, revamp the institution architecture, think in a different way, behavioral change, bring the latent entries into the people, bring young people into the government, and then you have to have a right framework institution by establishment division and have the PM office, I would say, to get an onus of it and work on it. And I hope this presentation, what we gave, you would read this paper, and this would have some impact on the policy making. And 30 years down the road, people would say that the technology is really doing good in Pakistan, what we thought in 2021. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ali Khizr, Aliza Amin, really explained what is in the report. Please, I do hope that you read the report. There's much more in there, because we're not just thinking, we don't just want the lens of governance to be changed or the lens of how business is done to be changed. We want to introduce a gender lens as well into this conversation. And I would now like to invite Sadaf Abid to the stage. She's the founder of Circle and an advocate for technology, financial inclusion, and women's empowerment. If we are to transform the future of Pakistan, we need more women in leadership positions as decision makers.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you to the President for hosting this important discussion. I think that sends out the right signal to all of us. Her Excellency, esteemed guests, friends, it's wonderful being here. I have been involved in the financial inclusion and entrepreneurship space since I graduated from Mount Holyoke College as a young 22-year-old. I did not know I was becoming an entrepreneur, let alone a social entrepreneur. The idea was compelling, providing microfinance to women from low-income families. When we started out, people said this would not work. Over 12 years, as the Chief Operating Officer and later CEO, we grew it to 300,000 women with a 99% recovery rate. This is the potential of Pakistani women, which unfortunately still remains untapped. I got into tech 5 years ago because I saw the power of technology to not just solve pressing challenges, but also to be an equalizer, an opportunity where women can be a part of it. However, there are less than 20% women today in the tech sector. If we look at some of the trends, Pakistan has one of the lowest formal labor force participation rate of women. It stands at 25%. Our neighbor, Bangladesh, is at 40%. If we go further, Vietnam is at 70%. Unless Pakistan invests in its women, we will not progress if we do not utilize 50% of our talent and innovation resting over there. UN Women research shows that investment in skills for women stands at only 20%. We saw the potential of technology being highlighted in the presentation earlier. However, out of the 25,000 IT graduates today, only 5,000 are actually in jobs. The rest are not competent or capable enough. Because unfortunately, what is being taught in our universities and academia is not in sync with what are the tech needs of today. So I started an experiment with my organization called Circle and a project called Tech Karo, Do Tech. And we decided that we would bring majority women into the classroom, at least 60%. And we noticed a shift. We found that women actually enjoyed and were great at coding. We had a 80% graduation rate. I remember asking a young man, what was your experience of being in a class with majority women? And he said to me, when I walked into the class and I saw so many women, I said, and I'll share this in Urdu, ye ladkiyan yahan kya kar rahi hain? What are these girls doing here? I have never seen women in my family work, let alone work on computers. But today I have realized that there are girls who are smarter than boys in this classroom. So working with men as allies is really important, and we really need those partnerships. Somya, another girl, I remember asking her, how are you finding this coding web development class? And she says to me, I love coding. And I said, really? And she said, yes, I wake up thinking of code, and I sleep thinking of code. And I was amazed. This was Gulshan Iqbal in Karachi. Somya comes from Baldia. She was a teacher wanting to learn coding so she could add additional income as a freelancer. So there are millions of girls like Somya who we should be tapping into and who we should be upskilling through investing in their capabilities. Startups. Yes, it's a real exciting time to be in this space. I'll add to the comments earlier shared. In the first half of 2021, Pakistani startups have raised more funds from VCs than last 5 years combined. And I want to really touch upon the potential that women are showing in this space. There is Uran, which is a tech startup, which is now using a tech platform to encourage women to save. My mother used to save in committees, and I grew up seeing her do that. I'm sure your mothers also saved in committees. This is a system which has been going on for centuries. They are digitizing the committee system. Uran raised $3 million. It's led by 2 women, one an investor, and the second one being a design strategist. AimFit is a startup which is digitizing health, particularly fitness and exercise, online exercise. They raised $1 million, run by 2 sisters who are exercise enthusiasts. Co-Natural is in the beauty space, organic beauty. Again, raised nearly $1 million. Beauty itself is an $8 billion business. Marham, $1 million, led by a woman and her male co-founder. They have a network of 20,000 doctors on their platform and have served over 10 million patients. So this is the opportunity. And when these women will succeed, pressing challenges for Pakistan will get solved. Jobs will be created. Better services will be promoted. And we will have inclusive growth. She Loves Tech is a platform that I brought to Pakistan 5 years ago. It is to support women startups and women in tech, and to increase visibility of women. Because if, as a young woman, the signal I get when I don't see women in leadership, and women as startups, women as innovators, the signal I get is, this is too hard. It's not possible. And we want to change that mindset. We want to make role models more visible. So She Loves Tech today is in 13 plus cities, including second-tier cities of Pakistan. It is the world's largest women and startup competition. And I'm proud that Pakistan is a part of it for 5 years, supported by HBL and UNDP. I would also like to talk about one of the greatest inventions that I see of today's times, smartphone. So smartphones are now a gateway to skills, to connections, to knowledge, to digital communities. You and I can't really live without it. But there are millions of women in Pakistan who do not have access to smartphones, whether it's the pricing or as simple as they don't know how to use it. So under the pandemic, with UN Women's support, we came up with a digital literacy project. And we worked with 400 women as a test case, teaching them how to use a smartphone, Google Maps, how to check your data, email IDs, Facebook, Insta for business. And I still remember this one woman saying, I thought only big people have email IDs, and today I have one. So women are 38% less likely than men to own a mobile phone. They are 49% less likely to use mobile internet. These are figures for Pakistan. 94% less likely to have mobile wallets. Why is that? Because women's access to mobile phones and to internet is not considered positive by their families. We should actually be running massive campaigns on TV, radio, social media to change mindsets, because access to a smartphone can actually create economic opportunities for women. We have women who are working with us who are now earning 5K, 10K more per month through digitizing their small business, through creating Facebook, social media pages for their business. Women further state that access to a mobile phone, 60% women said, makes them feel safer. 53% said it helps them enable access to important information that they would not have otherwise. So digital literacy, as I see it today, is actually a basic human right. So what should we do next? My recommendation would really be invest in digital skills massively. Look at digital access and internet as a basic human right, and make sure women are a part of it. Invest in digital infrastructure across the country. Affordable, low-cost smartphones, very important. Allow freelancers to be no taxes, and take a long-term view. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sadaf. I've witnessed myself, your journey with She Loves Tech 5 years ago when I interviewed you, and I think that kind of commitment from a private individual needs also to be demonstrated by the government as well. I would now like to invite Mr. Amir Hashmi, Chairperson of the Special Technology Zones Authority, to come to the stage to talk about the government, because I think the establishment of the STZA also indicates the high priority that the government is giving to developing, or at least energizing, the tech sector, which is what we're trying to talk about. Thank you, Mr. Hashmi.
Thank you, Amr. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. Respected President of Pakistan, Dr. Arif Alvi, Tabad Lab founder, Musharraf Zaidi, respected guests from the tech community, and of course, policymakers. Thank you for inviting me today and to shed light on the Special Technology Zone Authority. I think a bit of a mystery for some, but as now the act was just passed by the Senate 2 days ago, now you'll see more of it. We were just waiting for the act to be passed. In fact, it's being sent to the President today as he has to make an act of Parliament. So inshallah, we'll give a glimpse of him presentation on Monday as well. but I want to share thoughts about why this has been created and all of the reasons in this report. So I want to also congratulate the team. We read a lot of reports. I've had the opportunity to work for a think tank. This is extremely well researched. The data collection points, the analysis, and of course the recommendations that you're seeing up on the screen. I got a chance to read the report last night. If we can implement even half of those, you will have a tech revolution. And why I say that with confidence is I've had the opportunity to work in 3 large tech zones. One in Silicon Valley, early on in my career, and then one in Toronto, Canada, where IBM, Sun Microsystems took a boom, and the Canadian government intervened and provided legislation in a city called Markham, right outside of, well, on the outskirts of Toronto. And then my last part of my career was spent a lot in Korea, Shenzhen, Shanghai, to see how those interventions in tech zones catapulted the economy. And I'm going to relate this to the president's speech. And why? Because the president's here to realize what knowledge meant. Last week I had the opportunity to attend a leadership summit in which it was a very interesting talk by the president. If you get a chance, it'll be on Nutshell Group's website. The president didn't talk much about leadership. And it was interesting what he spoke about. He talked about biases that we all have. Of course, he understood that from a medical point of perspective. And then he spoke about reversing your decisions when you are presented with new knowledge. And then the last thing he talked about in a summary was ilm, mindset change. And I want to relate the ilm part to knowledge and our economy. So why do we all want to see tech, digitization, connectivity, our lower strata of society getting better lives? This is not going to happen until we become a knowledge-based ecosystem, right? We should understand that clearly no matter what we try. In the last 40 years of our economy, textile booms, textile sector has been given rebates and incentives by the government like galore. We've all studied them. And of course, they haven't really moved past that 16, 17, or $18 billion export mark. I remember 20 years ago, 18 years ago, when I moved back to Pakistan, they were hovering at 12, 13 billion. So jo ye tech ki baat ho rahi hai, aur Ali Khizr, fantastic effort on your report. He repeated the number 23, the age of 23. And we keep hearing from, of course, all the political parties and various government agencies, about 130 million under the age of 35. So where is our economy headed? What is it going to be on our economic mix? And this was alluded to in the report as well, that our exports are not going past $25 billion because there's no addition to the economic mix, right? And here comes STZA. It's exciting. What really is it? So I'll put it in simple terms because I don't have much time to talk, but of course you guys will all get a review. I'll share the slides in details. What the tech zones are actually going to do is that heavy word that we all keep saying about Pakistan. Pakistan does not have an enabling environment, right? Well, how do you create that? There's a huge provincial divide. We have a massive population of probably above 220 million people. We don't have strict unity of command because it's a parliamentary democracy. And how do you get an initiative on technology to move? So the best answer to that, and I think I have to give credit to the current government because I've been on this since I moved back to Pakistan 18 years ago, that this government, I've been sharing with all governments my views, this government took the bold step of passing, understanding this legislation and saying we have to intervene to allow the tech sector to grow. So, of course, passed by the National Assembly and, as I told you, the Senate. It was a difficult time in the Senate, and the issue wasn't on the content or the scope of what tech zones do, it was on tax issue, whether the provinces or not. But Allah ka shukr, it's been passed. What it allows you to do is, ye jo foreign direct investment ki baat ho rahi hai, tech friendly. Of course, we have Irfan here from Telenor. What will allow Telenor to keep investing in Pakistan and grow the base, lower the prices, is that if we allow, even in the area that the new Telenor office is in, you have to give special tax incentives, because FBR is just a beast, and the tech sectors, I think, approached the President of Pakistan, the Prime Minister, the Finance Minister, the FBR Chairman. So now it's a law. Your tax incentives given under the STZ Act is now a law, mashallah. Right? So this is a huge victory for Pakistan, which means that the taxes that will be waived for 10 years, the import duties coming in. Now let me explain why that's so important. Pakistan has not been able to do reverse engineering. We don't import supercomputers minus some of the special adaras, because a server, a high-end server, remember, does not cost less than $500,000. उस पे जो ड्यूटी होती थी वो आपको 2-3 million का पड़ता था. आप कैसे सीखेंगे? Huawei Shenzhen में कैसे बनी? This is important to learn. They invited Cisco, they invited IBM. ये सारी companies पाकिस्तान से revenue लेके buy लेके गई हैं. But guess what? Exciting, and Musharraf alluded to this. With the country with the Afghan situation right now, probably 2022, a global financial crisis looming, because abhi debt ceiling $30 trillion US की ज़्यादा चली गई है, तो Republicans ने भी तंग कर दे. With that, you have investor interest in Pakistan. So we're a very unique country that way, and it's a very exciting country. So with this, the tax incentives aside, the forex incentives, the venture capitalists, ladies and gentlemen, can now come to Pakistan. नहीं आता था. ये जो रिपोर्ट में भी लिस्ट करी हुई है, ये VCs बाहर बैठ के उन बैंक अकाउंट्स में पैसे करें, वो उन अकाउंट से पैसे इन्वेस्ट करें पाकिस्तान में, but they are not keeping that money in Pakistan. Now, how does the STZA help? If you are a venture capitalist firm, you set up office we've already got applications. I'll explain if I get a little bit of time what's happening on that. You can open up your foreign VC fund in the country with special regulations from the state bank, so that you can bring in your fund, keep it in dollars, make your profits, and also take it out, right? So that's excellent. Then the soft side of a tech zone, right? And if you envision the word Silicon Valley, or you heard of a city called Shenzhen, closer one to us is Dubai Internet City. The youth that, whether 23 years old or 35 years old, they need a culture of innovation. That's why I alluded to President's talk on ilm. So on a knowledge-based economy, the youth gets attracted to high-end researchers. Tech zone में कौन-कौन आएगा? आपको R&D centers allowed होंगे, आपको universities allowed होंगी, आपको tech companies, of course, the anchor ones, which I talked about, the big ones, they bring the FDI, आपकी local startups allowed होंगी, right? आपकी support services allowed होंगी, everyone within a geographical space that can help the socio-economic growth, plus, in the end, what they really do for a nation is the GDP growth of a nation. So extremely exciting. Inshallah, we're going to try our best. Sadaf referred to women empowerment. SDA is very pleased to share both, that we're the first authority, I think, that has very young directors, and our directors are from the age of 30 to 35, and we have about 1/3, apne 20% ka, hamare, I think 30-35% are females, because they're coming into tech. So I'm sorry, I don't have enough time, but I'll share a lot of other things too. I want to quote some of things out of the research paper. Please do read it. It's a fantastic report. I actually stayed up late because of the function today to make some notes on it, but I think we'd all like to hear from the President. Want to thank everyone for attending today, and I think, inshallah, hiccups hoenge, barriers hoenge, bureaucratic red tape bahut hai. I face it every day, but we're not going to give up. We're going to say laser focus on Pakistan, getting on to the technology revolution, inshallah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Amir Hashmi. And I think the stars are aligning if the Act of Parliament is meant to be signed today as well. So really fortunate to have Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, the President of Pakistan, Dr. Arif Alvi. Please come on stage, a few remarks. These are the closing remarks to the ceremony today.
تھینک یو. ذرا زیادہ سختی ہو گئی. آئی تھنک وی شوڈ بی ایبل ٹو ریلیکس ایٹ لیسٹ دا اسپیکر کہ وہ ماسک اتار لے. تو لہٰذا آج ہم نے یہ سختی کی تھی اسپیکرز کے ساتھ, اور مجھے خیال ہو رہا تھا کہ میں کسی سے ذکر کر دوں کہ کم سے کم بولنے میں ذرا سی آسانی ہو جائے. سو تھینک یو. بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم. جناب میرے دوست مشرف زیدی صاحب, عامر ہاشمی صاحب STGA سے, علی خضر صاحب, علیزے اور صدف عابد صاحبہ, آپ سب لوگوں نے بڑی عمدہ باتیں کیں اور میری پچھلے 10-12 سال 15 سال کی کاوشوں کا خلاصہ پیش کیا, یقیناً نئے خیالات کے ساتھ بھی. آپ نے شنزن کا ذکر کیا تو میرے پبلک سپیکنگ کے اندر شنزن وہ پہلی بڑی جگہ تھی جہاں پر میں نے آن لائن ایجوکیشن کے اوپر بڑا انسسٹ کیا اور میں نے اپنی تقریر کی. تو میں ساری چیزوں پر گفتگو اس لیے کرنا چاہتا ہوں کہ مسلسل میری ایک جدوجہد رہی ہے, اور میں آپ کو اویئر کرنا چاہتا ہوں کہ جو آپ کی رپورٹ ہے کہاں کہاں اس میں کہ پیش رفت ہوئی اور کہاں مسئلہ بھی ہے اور بن رہا ہے. میں نے ٹیک کے ساتھ میرا کوآپریشن بڑا پرانا ہے. میں نے پہلی اپنی تھیسس لکھی ماسٹرز کی یونیورسٹی آف مشیگن میں 1975 میں, اور مجھے لوگوں نے کہا کہ دیکھو تم جتنی اسٹیٹسٹکس اتنی اٹھاؤ جو اپنے ہاتھ سے کر سکو. تو میں نے کہا دوسرا آپشن کیا ہے؟ تو انہوں نے کہا کہ تم, میری جو تھیسس تھی ریسرچ تھی وہ 5 وے, اس میں ایک انالیسس آف ویریئنس آنا تھا. تو انہوں نے کہا کہ پھر تمہیں کمپیوٹر کے لیے کارڈز پنچ کرنے پڑیں گے اور 2-3 مہینے اس میں لگیں گے اور پھر اس کا انالیسس ہوگا. تو میں آئی آپٹیڈ فار اے مور ڈیفیکلٹ راؤٹ دین, کہ بجائے اس کے کہ اپنی اسٹیٹسٹکس چھوٹی کر لوں, میں نے اپنی اسٹیٹسٹکس بڑی رکھی. اینڈ آئی ٹک دی ایڈ آف دا کمپیوٹر ان 1975. آئی ہیڈ ٹو وزٹ دا کمپیوٹر سینٹر, یوتھ سینٹر. پھر 82 میں میں نے وہاں تھیسس لکھی تو کسی ایک خاتون کو میں نے ٹائپ کرنے کے لیے $1.50 پر پیج دیا, جو میرے لیے بہت تھا. تو میں نے جب 82 میں دوسرا ماسٹرز پروگرام جوائن کیا سان فرانسسکو میں, تو میں نے یہ سوچا کہ دیکھو اب میں خود ہی ٹائپ بھی کروں گا, خود ہی اس کی لسٹیں بناؤں گا, خود ہی اسٹیٹسٹکس کروں گا. تو آئی باٹ مائی فرسٹ کمپیوٹر دین وچ واز این ایپل IIe, فلاپی ڈسک کے ساتھ چلتا تھا, 64K اس کی میموری تھی اور سم تھنگ لائک دیٹ. میں نے ایپل رائٹر ایک پروگرام تھا اس پر سب کچھ کیا. اس دن سے آج تک میرے ساتھ میرا یہ ٹول بندھا ہوا ہے. آئی کال اٹ اے ٹول, اٹس ناٹ اے کمپیوٹر اس معنی کر کے کہ بڑا فیشنیبل ہو گیا. میں آپ سے یہ کہنا چاہتا ہوں یہ ٹول میرے ساتھ بندھا رہا, اینڈ آئی ہیو نیور لیوڈ وداؤٹ اٹ بیکاز دیٹس ہاؤ آئی ورک. جیسے میں آپ کے ساتھ گفتگو کر رہا ہوں تو اپنی زبان کے ذریعے کر رہا ہوں, یہ ٹولز ہیں جو اس کو بات کو باہر پہنچا رہے ہیں. تو آئیڈیاز تو میرے اپنے ذہن کے ہی ہیں نا. پھر میں اس وجہ سے آپ سے اس بات کا ذکر کر رہا ہوں کہ آئیڈیا ایڈاپٹ کرنے میں پیسے نہیں خرچ ہوتے, اس کو امپلیمنٹ کرنے میں تو ہو سکتا ہے نا, مگر آئیڈیا ایڈاپٹ کرنے میں پیسے نہیں خرچ ہوتے. اینڈ آئی بلیم مائی سیلف اینڈ دا پیپل آف پاکستان. مائی سیلف اس معنی کر کے کہ میں پاکستانی ہوں, کہ 2007 کے اندر میں آئی ایم برنگنگ یو ٹو دا پوائنٹ کہ جہاں اتنی ساری چیزیں آپ نے ذکر کیا, تو 2007 کے اندر میں نے شنزن کے اندر جو تقریر کی, میں نے کہا کہ دیکھو آن لائن ایجوکیشن, the difference between my first university in Michigan and Pakistan is کہ even after 20-30 years کوئی ایسا انسٹیٹیوشن پاکستان میں نہیں ہے جہاں پر میں کمپیئر کر سکوں. مگر اگر وہاں کے کورسز آن لائن مل جائیں تو میرا پاکستانی ڈینٹسٹ 1 سال میں اتنا ہی اچھا ہو جائے گا جتنا باہر کا ڈینٹسٹ ہے. ویری سمپل, کوئی اس میں انوکھی بات نہیں ہے. ایک خان اکیڈمی کے نام سے شروع ہو گیا تھا, تو دا ٹولز ور اویلیبل. میں آپ سے پوچھتا ہوں, آپ سے مطلب میں پاکستان سے پوچھتا ہوں, آپ سے نہیں, آپ تو اس میں نوجوان بھی ہیں بہت سارے, کہ وائی ڈنٹ وی اڈاپٹ دوز ٹولز دین؟ وائی ڈڈ وی نیڈ کووڈ ٹو تھرسٹ دوز ٹولز تھرو آر تھروٹس؟ کہ موکس اویلیبل ہے, نالج اویلیبل ہے. 15 साल से अवेलेबल है, सो रहे थे हम। इसको अडॉप्ट करने में कितने पैसे खर्च होते। तो मैं आपके सामने ये बात रख रहा हूँ कि जो आपने यहाँ पर जिक्र किया, इसको जितनी देर में अडॉप्ट करेंगे, एवरी ईयर विल कॉस्ट पाकिस्तान a few billion dollars एवरी ईयर। और मैंने जो कैफियत देखी है, देयर इज़ अ जनरेशन गैप, हर जगह होता है, पाकिस्तान में भी है। मैंने आते ही पहला एक मजमून लिखा, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस एंड कंप्यूटिंग में पाकिस्तान का मुकाम 2018 में आते ही। तो मैंने कोशिश ये की कि एक वाइब्रेंसी शुरू हो, इसके ऊपर डिस्कशन हो, इसके ऊपर बातचीत हो। कोई कामयाबी भी हुई, बाकी कोविड ने भी कामयाब किया, कामयाबी हुई। मैंने एक प्रोग्राम शुरू कराया, देखो ना, आपने जिक्र किया, सबसे पहले तो उस लेवल पर आ जाएं जहां हमें इंटेलेक्ट चाहिए, बाकी चीज़ें ब्रॉडबैंड और ये चीज़ें बाद में आएंगी। हमें रिसोर्स चाहिए ना, वो बच्चा चाहिए, वो आदमी चाहिए जो इस चीज़ का सिपाही अपने काम के लिए बने। इतना इल्म उसको हो, इतना हो कि वो इन चीज़ों को समझ ले। अच्छा, अब क्या कैफियत है? हमने तालीम के अंदर ये कैफियत पैदा की हुई है कि 2 करोड़ बच्चे आउट ऑफ स्कूल हैं। दिस इज़ अ पैशन जिस चीज़ को आपने छेड़ा है। मैंने 2009-10 के अंदर एक आकाश कंप्यूटर के ऊपर बड़ा पुश किया कि उससे मिलता जुलता, जैसे कंप्यूटर अडॉप्टेड बाय इंडिया टू बी स्प्रेड इनटू स्कूल्स, जो कनाडा में बना था, $40 का था, वो $20 पर वो स्कूलों में दे रहे थे। तो मैं कह रहा था कि यार बच्चों की तालीम जो है ना, वो इस पर ले आओ। किताबें अब क्लाउड में मौजूद हैं, उस्ताद क्लाउड में मौजूद हैं। ये ब्रिक एंड मॉर्टर के सिस्टम के अंदर पाकिस्तान के लिए कितना सस्ता है कि बच्चों को बजाय इसके कि किताबें तो कि स्कूल उनके लिए बनाओ, है स्कूल ज़रूर बनाओ, बट 20% काम स्कूल में होगा, बाकी 80% बच्चों को आज़ाद तो करो, निकालो। तो वो भी मैं झक मारता रहा। बड़े बड़े स्कूल्स को मैंने जमा किया, TCF को कहा, बहुत सारों को कहा कि यार पैड्स के ऊपर काम करना शुरू करो, बच्चों को कुछ ना कुछ देना शुरू करो, सस्ता पड़ेगा। यू सी ऑल द बुक्स फॉर द नेक्स्ट 10 years विल बी ऑन दैट पैड। तो एक मतलब पैड खरीदोगे, 5 साल की किताबें उसमें आ जाया करेंगी। नॉट न्यू। माई डॉटर जॉइंड प्रोग्राम इन मैसाचुसेट्स, तो उसको ये 12 साल 15 साल पुरानी बात हो गई। उसको चॉइस ही ये दिया गया कि इतनी सारी किताबें या एक ये कंप्यूटर है, दोनों चीज़ें हम तुमको मुफ्त ही देंगे या वो यूल पे फॉर इट, है ना, एट द सेम कॉस्ट। और इस कंप्यूटर के अंदर ये सारी चीज़ें भी मौजूद होंगी, तुम मार्क भी करती रहोगी, तुम्हारे पास हैंडी रहेगा। ऑफ कोर्स शी ऑप्टेड फॉर दिस रादर देन कैरिंग दिस इन हर बैग। तो तालीम के साथ पहला कदम ये है कि हमने जो यहाँ पर जिक्र हुआ, ये आते ही मैंने इसका जिक्र करना शुरू किया कि 30,000 हम बच्चे प्रोड्यूस करते हैं IT के, और 25,000 इस काबिल नहीं होते कि वो खप जाए इंटरनेशनल मार्केट। देखो ये मार्केट लोकल नहीं है, अब ये मार्केट इंटरनेशनल है। वेंचर कैपिटल आपके पास क्यों आ रहा है कि मार्केट इंटरनेशनल है। वॉट एवर हैपन्स टू द जियोपॉलिटिक्स, ये एक आज़ाद मार्केट है, ये खुद ही खपेगी। ये वो कैफियत नहीं है कि गाहक यहाँ आएगा, देखेगा हालात ख़राब हैं, आ नहीं सका तो उसको दुबई बुला लिया। दिस इज़ नॉट लाइक दैट। ये गाहक वहाँ बैठे बैठे सब कुछ देख लेगा। द अमाउंट ऑफ टाइम यू स्पेंड एज अ वर्कर राइटिंग सॉफ्टवेयर, गाहक वो जो बायर है उसको बाहर पता चल जाएगा। अब ज़रूरत भी नहीं है उसको कैमरा लगाने की भी ज़रूरत नहीं है। द प्रोग्राम्स आर अवेयर टू फाइंड आउट कि हाउ मच टाइम हैज़ बीन स्पेंट ऑन व्हाट। मगर मैं वापस ये आ रहा हूँ कि जो बच्चे हम प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं, तो एक तो बेसिक नॉलेज का थोड़ा सा इनपुट डालकर आप उनको इस काबिल बनाएं कि बेसिक सॉफ्टवेयर लिख सकें। तो दैट मीन्स यू स्टार्ट विद एन इंटरमीडिएट पर्सन फॉर एग्जांपल। तो प्रेसिडेंशियल इनिशिएटिव ऑन आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस के अंदर हमने वही काम किया। उससे ऊपर आइए, जो हम प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं वो ठीक हो जाए। तो ये एजुकेशन का जो आपने ह्यूमन रिसोर्स की बात की ना, ये बड़ी अहम है। लोगों की राल टपकती है आपका ये डेमोग्राफिक्स देखकर। आई मेट द प्राइम मिनिस्टर ऑफ जापान, आबे, एक्स प्राइम मिनिस्टर, تو وہ کہنے لگے کہ if you have 100,000 IT specialists today, we would like to employ them. Today, ہمارے پاس ہے ہی نہیں, ہمارے پاس یوتھ ہیں, HR نہیں ہے. اچھا, اور پھر ہم دوسروں کو دیں گے بھی نہیں. اب تو میری ٹوٹل خواہش یہ نہیں ہے کہ پیدا کرو, پڑھاؤ, تربیت دو اور باہر بھیج دو. دیٹس ناٹ مائی انٹرسٹ اینی مور. میرا انٹرسٹ یہ ہے کہ یہ چیز کیونکہ ایک انٹرنیشنل مارکیٹ ہے, یہاں عورتیں اور مرد یہاں بیٹھ کر یہ سارے کام کر سکتے ہیں, یہاں بیٹھ کر کما سکتے ہیں. دیٹس مائی انٹرسٹ, ناٹ اینی مور کہ ڈاکٹرز, انجینئرز آل ایکسپورٹڈ ٹو فارن کنٹریز اینڈ وی لوز دیم. انویسٹمنٹ اتنا کر کے وی لوز دیم. وی ڈونٹ وانٹ ٹو لوز یور اسمارٹ پیپل ہو آر ہیئر ٹوڈے. تو لہٰذا ہم نے یہ سوچا کہ ایک ٹریننگ آف دا ٹرینرز بوٹ کیمپ کریں گے. آتے ہی آئی پروپوز دیٹ ان نومبر 2018 کہ ٹریننگ آف دا ٹرینرز, اینڈ وی went through the bureaucracy. The bureaucracy is not aware of the train which is whooshing past by us, which is called the fourth industrial revolution. They are actually not aware. وہ اپنے ٹریڈیشنل سوچ کے ساتھ ہیں, تو ہر چیز پر بریک لگتا ہے, ٹریڈیشنل brick and mortar والا بریک لگتا ہے ہر چیز پر. تو that file kept on moving. It is not still successful. Imagine the president is seriously concerned about a program. ہر جگہ فون کر کے سفارش کر رہا ہے, بیوروکریسی کو پش کر رہا ہے. It's still so slow. 2 سال 3 سال ہم نے ضائع کر دیے اس چھوٹی سی چیز کے اندر جس کے اندر آج تک فرق پڑ چکا ہوتا. تو ایکچولی میرا دل یہ کہتا ہے کہ ہماری یہ ساری کوتاہیاں آر کرمنل, ناٹ لیس دین دیٹ, کیونکہ اس سے ملک کے مستقبل کا بڑا گہرا اور بڑا قریبی تعلق ہے. تو یہ تو ہیومن ریسورس پر میں آپ سے بات کر رہا تھا, اور میں روزانہ, ان فیکٹ آئی میٹ یونیورسٹی پیپل ٹوڈے. آئی ایم اے چانسلر اور پیٹرن ٹو اباؤٹ 35 or 40 یونیورسٹیز. ہر ایک کے ساتھ میں انسسٹ کرتا ہوں کہ زمانہ بدل گیا ہے. لیٹ می گیو یو another demographic, not a demographic situation but the status of Pakistan. ہیومن ریسورس اگین, کیونکہ ہیومن ریسورس کے بغیر آئی ٹی کہاں جائے گا. آپ وینچر کیپٹل لے آئیں گے, انہی لوگوں میں کھیلتے رہیں گے جو کر چکے ہیں. وی نیڈ ٹو اسپیڈ اپ دیٹ ویگن ود دا نمبرز آن دا ٹرین آلسو. تو میں نے another figure which I must put before you کہ ہمارے یہاں جتنے انٹرمیڈیٹ کرتے ہیں اور ہائر ایجوکیشن میں جاتے ہیں وہ 9% ہیں جو ہائر ایجوکیشن میں جاتے ہیں. اچھا, then look around in the region. بنگلہ دیش میں 16% ہیں, انڈیا میں it's in the 21 or 22% جو ہائر ایجوکیشن میں جا رہے ہیں. ہم کر کیا رہے ہیں پھر؟ You see, the number should increase. And the universities come to me and tell me کہ جی ہمیں کیمپس چاہیے, ہمیں لینڈ چاہیے, ہمیں یہ چاہیے. میں ان سے کہتا ہوں تم ایگزسٹنگ جگہ پر بڑھ سکتے ہو. Let me give you an example. There is a virtual university in Pakistan, maybe you knew or you did not know. 1,30,000 میں وہ بیچلرز ڈگری دے رہے ہیں. کوئی انسٹیٹیوشن ہے پاکستان میں جو 5-6 لاکھ سے کم میں دے رہا ہو؟ کام کرتے ہوئے بچوں کو وہ ورچوئل یونیورسٹی کے ذریعے ٹرین کر رہے ہیں. ان کا کیمپس ایک رینٹڈ بلڈنگ میں. You know how many students they had in the first year when I came here? 11,000 نیو ایڈمیشنز. سیکنڈ ایئر میں 20,000. اس سال 10 دن پہلے انہوں نے مجھے فگرز دیے کہ 40,000 ان کی انرولمنٹ ہے. بیکاز فرام گوئنگ فرام 20 to 40 they did not need a new campus. They did not need billions of rupees of investments. تو میں یہ کہہ رہا ہوں کہ 9% سے جب آپ آگے کیسے جائیں گے اگر آپ فزیکل برک مارٹر کے اعتبار سے سوچتے رہیں گے. Therefore it is essential that the tools have to be adopted to develop resource. دوسرے میں آپ سے یہ کہہ رہا تھا کہ آپ کا یہ جو بریک اپ ہے یا آپ ہی کی پالیسی کے اندر مجھے بڑا اچھا لگا. And let me make you aware point by point what you've talked about. You've talked about a digital Pakistan policy جو آ گئی جس کے اندر مدد کی ضرورت ہے. ریگولیٹری سینڈ باکس SCCP کا جو this is your page 27 of your report ہے نا. SCCP کا جو ریگولیٹری فریم ورک ہے وہ بھی آسان ہو گیا. اتنا آسان ہو گیا کہ میں آپ کو نیکسٹ اسٹیپ بتا رہا ہوں کہ میں نے کیا کیا. یہاں خضر صاحب نے یہ بات رکھی کہ سائلوز آپس میں بات نہیں کر رہے, اینڈ دیٹ از ویری ٹرو. تو میں نے اس کے اندر ایک جو کام کیا جو یاد آ جائے گا, میں بھول نہ جاؤں, میں نے ایک کام یہ کیا کہ سائلوز کو آپس میں ملانے کے لیے میں مختلف منسٹریز کو ساتھ بٹھاتا ہوں. ایک منسٹری نے آ کر مجھ کو یہ کہا, میں نے ان سے پوچھا کہ کتنے فارمرز ہیں پاکستان میں, تو انہوں نے کہا کہ جی 8 لاکھ ہیں جتنے ہیں. اچھا, میں نے کہا ان کا ڈیٹا ہے؟ انہوں نے کہا نہیں. اسی میٹنگ کے اندر ایک دوسری منسٹری کے لوگ بیٹھے تھے, انہوں نے کہا جی ہمارے پاس ڈیٹا ہے. میں نے کہا کتنے کا؟ انہوں نے کہا 6 لاکھ کا ڈیٹا ہمارے پاس. میں نے کہا تم کیا کر رہے ہو؟ جن کو ضرورت ہے ان کے پاس نہیں. سو آئی واز شاکڈ کہ ایٹ دیٹ لیول دیر از اے لیک آف کمیونیکیشن. تو آئی ڈو پارٹ آف مائی جاب از دس کہ میں دوسروں سب کو ملاتا ہوں. تو میں نے اس کے لیے کیا کیا, میں نے سلیکان ویلی کے پچھلے دنوں کوئی 2 ہفتے ہوئے, میں نے سلیکان ویلی سے 20-25 بڑے انٹرپرونرز پاکستان کے, ان کو ایمبیسڈر آف پاکستان ان نیو یارک, ان کو گورنر اسٹیٹ بینک فرام پاکستان, SCCP کے چیئرپرسن بیمار تھے, ان کو سیکنڈ ان کمانڈ آئے, FBR کے لوگ بٹھائے, منسٹری آف کامرس کے لوگ بٹھائے, اور وی ہیڈ اے سیشن اسٹارٹنگ ایٹ 8 o'clock at night because that's more feasible, کیونکہ وی آر سیلنگ ourselves. We have to open our shop when it is easier for others to look at. 8 بجے سے ہم بیٹھے, 2-3 گھنٹے ہم نے اس میں ایکسچینج کیا, اینڈ ٹاپ انٹرپرونرز فرام سلیکان ویلی انکلوڈنگ ضیاء صاحب, بہت سارے نام میں آپ سے لے سکتا ہوں, انہوں نے پرابلمز بتائے اور یہاں پر حل ہوئے ان دیٹ میٹنگ. اینڈ وی ہیو ڈیسائیڈڈ ٹو کیپ اٹ اے رننگ شو, کہ وہ مسلسل ہمیں پتہ چلتا رہے کہ IT انویسٹرز جو باہر ہیں, پوٹینشیل انویسٹرز جو ہیں, جن کو ایک ورڈ آف ماؤتھ پہ بیڈ ماؤتھنگ ہوئی ہے کہ یہاں بینک نہیں پیسہ نہیں نکالنے دے رہا, پیسہ انویسٹ نہیں کرنے دے رہا, یا اکاؤنٹ نہیں کھولنے دے رہا, یا ٹرسٹ کے اکاؤنٹس نہیں کھولنے دے رہے, تو وہ بہت ساری چیزیں اس میں ہینڈل ہوئیں. یہاں امیزون سیلرز کو میں نے بلایا یہاں پر, جیسے ہی بیفور دا بجٹ, اینڈ دین آئی ڈیڈ دا سیم ایکسپیریمنٹ. آئی ہیڈ پاکستان پوسٹ سٹنگ ہیئر, FBR, پاکستان کسٹمز, اینڈ a lot of government people جن کا جو government stakeholders ہیں, and we solved those problems before the budget came up. اور نتیجہ یہ ہوا کہ فوراً ہی پالیسیز کے اندر تبدیلی آئی. تو e-commerce پالیسی بھی آ گئی, بٹ it just opens up windows, tremendous windows. پیمنٹ سسٹم کے اندر بھی آپ نے دیکھا کہ اب I am pushing now, جو آپ دیکھ رہے ہیں وہ تو ہو رہا ہے, let me not remind you کہ کیا کیا ہو رہا ہے. اب جو میرا انسسٹنس ہے وہ یہ ہے کہ جو احساس کے فنڈز جاتے ہیں اور جو بھی سوشل ویلفیئر کے فنڈز جا رہے ہیں, تو وہ اب عورت کے اکاؤنٹ میں جائیں. it should be made very easy. پرابلم کیا ہے مجھے نظر نہیں آ رہا, ڈیلے کیوں ہے کہ عورت کے بینک اکاؤنٹ میں جائیں. کیوں آپ نے 12,000 دیے, آپ کو نیومرس سٹوریز پتہ چل جائیں گی خود ہی کہ وہ بیچاری ٹیکسی لے کر آئی, وہاں پر کسی نے پیسے مانگے آسانی پیدا کرنے کے لیے, پھر گھر گئی تو بیٹھتے ہی جاتے ہی باپ نے کہا, بھائی نے کہا, میاں نے کہا کہ 200 مجھے دے دو, 500 مجھے دے دو, تو اس کے ہاتھ سے چیزیں فوراً ہی نکل گئیں, ایک ہی دن میں نکل گئیں ایک پروپورشن, کم سے کم اس کے ہاتھ میں تو آئے. تو وی آر انسسٹنگ, اینڈ آئی ٹاک ٹو دا گورنر اسٹیٹ بینک اے فیو ڈیز اگو اینڈ ٹو سنیا نشتر صاحبہ آلسو, وی آر انسسٹنگ کہ یہ ٹیکنالوجی کے ذریعے عورت کے ہاتھ میں اپنے بینک اکاؤنٹ میں پیسہ آئے, اور ڈیجیٹل ٹرانسفر شوڈ بی میڈ ایزی. یو نو کہ چائنا کے اندر اس وقت بھکاری بھی ہے جو QR کوڈ لے کر بیٹھتا ہے, کیونکہ کیش کہیں نہیں ہے, کہتا ہے کہ مجھے اس پہ پیسے بھیج دو. تو جیسے ہی کیش لیسنس کی طرف آپ جائیں گے, ڈاکیومنٹیشن آف دا اکانومی بھی ہوگی, وائٹننگ آف دا اکانومی بھی ہوگی, بہت بے انتہا بینیفٹس ہیں. دا مور یو ڈیجیٹائز یور کنٹری, دیر از اے ڈائریکٹ افیکٹ آن یور ایئرلی گروتھ. جتنے جو بھی فگرز ہیں ان کے اوپر ڈائریکٹ افیکٹ ہوگا ان سب چیزوں کا. ٹیکس ٹوڈے, ٹیکس کا ایک کیفیت دیکھو, یہ ایک بیلنس ہے. آپ پریشان ہو کر بھی یہ بات کرتے ہیں کہ یہ ٹیکس اس کے اوپر, ڈونٹ سیل دس, ڈونٹ سیل دا اسپیکٹرم فار ایگزامپل. آئی ایگری ود یو, بٹ یو ریڈ ایوری ڈے کہ گورنمنٹ آلسو نیڈز منی, دیر نیڈز اے بیلنس بٹوین امپورٹس اینڈ ایکسپورٹس. ٹریڈ بیلنس ہے, $1 180 پر جا رہا ہے. صرف فرق یہ ہے کہ یو نیڈ 2 or 3 years آف بریڈنگ ٹائم, کہ جو گند کیا ہوا تھا اس کو ذرا سا مینیج تو کر لو. صرف سانس لینے کے قابل ہو جاؤ, سب اپنے پروسیسز کو ٹھیک کر لو. اس کے بعد آئی ٹیل دی FBR اینڈ دا منسٹر آف فائنانس کہ آج نہیں ٹیکس کرو, کس چیز پر ٹیکس کرو؟ اسپیکٹرم تمہارے پاس, تم نے تو پروڈیوس بھی نہیں کیا نا اسپیکٹرم تو ہوا میں ہے, اس کو تم بیچ کر ٹیکس لے رہے ہو. تو میں ان سے کہہ رہا ہوں کہ اس کو مت بیچ کر ٹیکس لو, ان کو ڈیولپ ہونے دو, پھر اس کے اوپر جو کاروبار ہوگا وہ اپنے آپ ہی ٹیکس دینے کے قابل ہو جائے گا. سو ڈونٹ ٹیکس ٹوڈے. If you tax today, you will get a rupee, but you won't get 100 rupees tomorrow. You will get 100 rupees 10 years later. تو اس کی اگر آپ ڈائنامکس دیکھیں تو بہت زیادہ ہے. تو کہہ میں رہا ہوں, مگر دیکھو حکومت کی بھی ایک ضرورت ہے ٹیکسیشن کی, ٹھیک ہے, بٹ آل دیز تھنگس ول گو سائملٹینیسلی. پیمنٹ سسٹمز, راست اکاؤنٹ, یہاں پر باہر سے انویسٹ کرنے کے اعتبار سے لوگوں نے وہاں جو ہماری سلیکان ویلی سے میٹنگ ہوئی, انہوں نے یہ کہا کہ ٹرسٹ اوپن سورس ٹیکنالوجی اینڈ سافٹ ویئر دونوں کے لیے جو ٹرسٹ ہیں جو اوپن سورس کو ہینڈل کرتے ہیں وہ اکاؤنٹ پاکستان میں نہیں کھول سکتے. تو وی آر لوکنگ ایٹ دیٹ پاسبلٹی آلسو کہ اوپن سورس ٹرسٹ جو ہیں, اوپن سورس سافٹ ویئر اینڈ اوپن سورس ٹیکنالوجی, اس کے لیے بھی ہو. پرسنل ڈیٹا پروٹیکشن بل از ویری امپورٹنٹ, کیونکہ جیسے جیسے آپ ٹیکنالوجی فرمز یہاں بنیں گی تو دیکھو دنیا میں کموڈٹی کیا ہے آپ کی؟ کموڈٹی آپ کا ڈیٹا ہے. آل آف یو آر ورکنگ آن ڈیٹا ان ڈفرینٹ ویز. اس کموڈٹی کی موومنٹ کو آپ آسان کرنے کی کوشش کے اندر ڈیٹا پروٹیکشن بل بننا چاہیے پاکستان میں. اور آپ کی خواہش کیا ہونی چاہیے؟ آپ کی خواہش ہونی چاہیے کہ آپ کے ایکسپرٹس ہیں وہ دنیا کا ڈیٹا انالائز کرنے کے قابل ہو جائیں, مگر دنیا آپ کے کو ٹرسٹ نہیں کرے گی وداؤٹ اے کمپریہنسو ڈیٹا پروٹیکشن لا. کہ ان کا ڈیٹا یہاں آئے, آپ کے جج نے وہ ڈیٹا بلاک کر دیا, وہ تو کمپنی بیٹھ جائے گی. سو دے ڈونٹ وانٹ دیٹ کائنڈ آف این ان پٹ. ہمیں بھی یہ چاہیے کہ ہم بھی ڈیٹا پروٹیکٹ کریں, کوئی ایسا ڈیٹا ہمارے یہاں نہیں آئے جو ہمارے لیے نقصان دہ ہو. دیر کین بی سو مینی ایگزامپلس. تو لہٰذا ہم بھی یہ چاہتے ہیں کہ ڈیٹا آئے یہاں پر. تو ہوا یہ کہ یورپ نے ڈیٹا پروٹیکشن بل پر اچھا کام کیا اور وہ انٹرنیشنلی ایکسیپٹیبل ہے. امریکہ اور یورپ کے اندر US data in Europe is like US data. US data in UK is like US data. Governed by laws جس کا ڈیٹا ہے, but also governed by authorities in that country اگر کہیں انکروچ ہو. تو میں نے یہ کیا کہ میں نے ایک کمیٹی بنائی جس کے اندر اسٹیک ہولڈر ضیاء چشتی صاحب کو بھی ڈالا اور لا منسٹر کو بھی ڈالا, اپنے ڈیفنس کے لوگوں کو بھی ڈالا, کیونکہ ایک سائبر ڈیفنس سائٹ کا ڈیٹا ہے جو بڑی اہمیت رکھتا ہے ہم جن چیزوں کے اعتبار سے بھی کریں. تو سم پروگریس ول ہیپن. ویل ہیو اے گڈ اسٹیک ہولڈر آئیڈینٹیفائڈ ڈیٹا پروٹیکشن بل. مگر STZ کا ذکر اس کے اندر بھی آیا. یہ آیا کہ مثال کے طور پر چائنا تو ہمارا دوست ہے, ٹھیک ہے نا. چائنیز ڈیٹا کی انالیٹیکل ایبلٹیز پاکستان کے اندر ہونی چاہیے اور وہ یوز کریں, مگر ان کو سیکیورٹی ہے اس بات کی. تو ہم نے ان سے یہ کہا, کمیونیکیٹ کر بھی رہے ہیں کہ تم STZA کے اندر اپنی فرم کھولو, تمہارا ڈیٹا یہاں رہے گا, تمہارا ڈیٹا it will be protected. تو with China and friendly countries that kind of approach can also happen کہ STZA کے اندر یہ کیا جائے. اس کے بعد آپ کا پوائنٹ ہے سائبر سیکیورٹی پالیسی. ایوری یونیورسٹی آئی ایم انکریجنگ ٹوڈے کہ سائبر سیکیورٹی کے اندر دے شوڈ بی انویسٹنگ اینڈ پروڈیوسنگ گریجویٹس. ویری امپورٹنٹ. آج آپ نے خبر دیکھی ہوگی کہ شوکت ترین صاحب نے کہا کہ FBR is attacked every day 100 times or something, کوئی فگر بھی انہوں نے دیا. تو this is a continuous war which is happening and who will protect you? Others won't. آپ کو اپنا پروٹیکشن کرنا پڑے گا. نئے زمانے کی جو وارفیئر ہو, جو ڈیفنس ہے, وہ بھی برک اینڈ مارٹر ایئر کرافٹ کیریئر اور پلین سے ہٹ جائے گی. تو لہٰذا وہاں پر بھی ہمیں ایکسپرٹس کی ضرورت ہے. تو سائبر پالیسی جو ہے اور سائبر کے اندر ہمیں لوگوں کو اس سلسلے میں انکریج کرنا ہے. فارن فنڈنگ آپ نے خود ہی کہا. آئی ایم ویری ہوپ فل. آئی بلیو ویری اسٹرانگلی کہ جس انداز سے IT پاکستان کو اٹھائے گی ان دا نیکسٹ فیو ایئرز, نو برک اینڈ مارٹر انڈسٹری ہیز دیٹ پوٹینشیل. دیکھو آپ ماشاء اللہ اسٹارٹ اپس کچھ یہاں پہ بیٹھے ہوئے ہیں, سالوں کے اندر آپ کام کر لیں گے, and I did an experiment. I called the big families of Pakistan. मैंने उनको पूछा तुम्हें कितना अरसा लगा, क्या वर्थ है, किसी ने कहा 2 बिलियन, किसी ने कहा 2.5 बिलियन, किसी ने कहा 1.5 बिलियन, कितना अरसा लगा? 3 या 4 जनरेशन लगी, परदादा थे, दादा थे, हम यहाँ तक आए. और आजकल टेक साइट पर, you know the names, even Pakistanis who have made more money out of in 4-5 years than this. तो लोगों को चांस देना है. Investment, I've encouraged these family owned companies in Pakistan and people के वेंचर कैपिटल के अंदर इन्वेस्ट करें. अच्छा, वेंचर कैपिटल आपके पास बड़ी तेज़ी से आएगा भी. आप कोई चीज़ बनाएंगे, अब तो मार्केट, तो एक ज़माना था ना गुड्स प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं, ग्राहक तलाश कर रहे हैं. यार आप कोई चीज़ प्रोड्यूस कीजिए अच्छी, भूखों की तरह दुनिया भर से आएंगे उसके लिए. तो यू हैव द बेस्ट अपॉर्चुनिटी टुडे इन पाकिस्तान के जिसके अंदर आप बड़ी तेज़ी से तरक्की करें. और मेरा ख्वाब यही है कि जो ब्रिक एंड मॉर्टर के एतबार से पाकिस्तान के साथ होना है, दैट्स अ वेरी स्लो प्रोसेस. द फास्टेस्ट थिंग is this train going by you. There is still time to jump on that train, है ना. और इसी हवाले से मैं मुशर्रफ से जो हम बात करते रहे थे ओवर द ईयर्स, एजुकेशन नीचे, स्टेम एजुकेशन, बच्चों को इनकरेज करना, इन्होंने एक पॉलिसी लेकर आया. जब इनका प्रोग्राम वाइंड अप हुआ तो मुझे तो बड़ा अफसोस हुआ, बिकॉज दे वर डूइंग गुड जॉब. बच्चों को कैसे इंटरेस्ट क्रिएट किया जाए. तो एक स्कूल था जिसको हम खुद, रेलवे का स्कूल था, पैसों अपने जनरेट करके माई वाइफ एंड आई वुड ट्राई एंड हेल्प. तो उसके अंदर फिर हमने क्या किया, हमने ये किया कि एस्ट्रोनॉमी डे भी बनाया. एस्ट्रोनॉमी डे टू इनकरेज चिल्ड्रन. इतनी लाइन लग गई पाकिस्तान के अंदर, कराची के अंदर बहुत सारे एमेचर टेलीस्कोप ओनर्स थे, वो अपने टेलीस्कोप्स ले आए, वो भी खुश, जैसे शायर अपने उसको कहें अपनी नज़म सुना दो तो वो बड़ा खुश होता है. तो ये टेलीस्कोप ओनर्स ने 4-5 टेलीस्कोप लगा दिए, और हमारे गली महल्ले के बच्चे जो थे, छोटे छोटे बड़े भी, वो चांद देखना और दूसरे प्लैनेट्स के मून्स देखने के लिए वो एक लाइन लग गई लंबी सी. तो इसी यू हैव टू, ये जो आइडियाज़ हैं आपके, ये गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर के अंदर तो मैं भी प्रोपोगेट कर रहा हूँ, ये यहाँ बैठे हुए भी हैं JSTZA के चेयरमैन, ये भी सब लोग प्रोपोगेट कर भी रहे हैं. एंड देयर इज सो मच वाइब्रेंसी अराउंड कि व्हाइल वी think we've lost some of the time, I hope we are still ready to jump on that bandwagon and show to the world what we are like. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellency, for taking time out for this event. Tea will be served, and I would like to request the Bad Lab team to go into the hall for a photograph.